Of course, come into our conversation right now, the Gauteng Department of Education had raised concerns about cases of sexual harassment in some schools within the province. We understand that at least 3 pupils had reported sexual harassment by male learners in separate incidents at a Midrand school. Steve Mabona, the spokesperson for the Department of Basic Education within the province, joins me now for this conversation. Steve, good morning to you, and thank you so much for your time. I mean, what are the merits of the story? What exactly is happening in schools, particularly with these incidents that you have had reported to you regarding sexual harassment?
Good morning, Tumelo, and to all our viewers. Now, this is quite sad what is happening in some of our schools these days. You cannot really expect learners to sexually harass each other or even assault to a certain extent. And on a repetitive occasion, I mean, you can't expect the learner to do such a horrifying thing and go back the following day, want to also harm another learner in this manner. So it's quite concerning. We really want to encourage parents to work with us. This is ill-discipline more than anything. You cannot have a learner that will want to be ill-disciplined in this manner in a school premises.
Yeah. And what steps has the school taken against the male perpetrators? I understand it's 3 separate incidents, but what has the school done about it so far?
Well, the school has launched an investigation, but you know that those learners will then be suspended and their parents will then be summoned to come to a disciplinary hearing, because remember, you cannot hear their cases in absence of parents. So parents will then come. They are finalizing the dates on when those disciplinary hearings will be, facilitated for all these boys. And the police are investigating circumstances surrounding these incidences, because, if a child is harmed in that fashion, you need to open a case. So the police are investigating, and we will hear from them on how they are conducting their investigation. But it's quite sad. These are things that really don't want to see in our schools, and we really need assistance from parents.
And I'm glad you expressed that concern and worry, Steve, because there needs to be preventative measures so this doesn't happen again. One would wonder what kind of a society then are we breeding if already in schools underage learners are engaging in sexual harassment and are already deemed perpetrators, and as far as the South African Police Service investigating such cases. Any strategy in place as yet to address this so it does not happen again within the province of Gauteng?
No, we work very closely with all our schools. We have what we call safety coordinators who visit our schools, make sure that they impart information basically on, abuse. Learners need not to be abused when they're at school. There must not be any violence. There must not be any bullying. All those strategies are there. We implement, we visit schools. If we target certain areas where we see that probably there's violence is perpetuated in the area, then we zoom in and go into those schools, interact with the learners, interact with the parents to a certain extent, and our educators, well, they have also, we have strategies that we implement and make sure that there's no abuse, there's no assault, there's no enforcement of corporal punishment, as we might have seen in some of the schools. I mean, you'll find teachers that will do that, and you don't understand how will that be happening. But we implement the strategies and visit our schools, and we'll continue. We're not going to be, tired to do that. We'll go to our schools and make sure that, learners understand what is at stake, and also take those that are identified as bullies. Continue to take them to facilities where we show them on how things are done, and their misbehavior, their ill discipline might learn them here. Like, for instance, we have partnership with correctional services. Normally take them there and and then social development, we implement those, programs working with our stakeholders.
Yeah, and just my last question to you, I mean, when we talk about teachers here, oftentimes they lament that they're not necessarily trained to, handle incidents outside of teaching. What support are you giving schools, teachers, principals included, so that in the unfortunate event that they are met with incidents like this, where a learner reports that they had been sexually harassed by another learner, they will take the adequate steps to ensure that the victim is given support and counseling, but also the perpetrator, of course, is given the discipline that is required to send a very strong message that such behavior would not be tolerated in schools?
No, we work very closely with our sister department, social development. We do support teachers. To a certain extent, there are officials that are based at the district. If there are challenges at school, the principal will then call the district, officials will come and support them. Same with the learners. There's a psychosocial unit team that is normally dispatched to our schools. And I know with this school, I mean, there's some parents who called me yesterday to say they've not received the support. And I've already interacted with our psycho team to say from head office level, they need to assist the district, make sure that all those learners are taken through necessary support, and the parents as well. And some of the learners that might have one way or the other being affected by this, they are normally taken through that process. So the support is there, and we will continue to support our educators and all our schools when coming to such incidences. But parents really need to assist us. If we, in the society, we mirror what happens in the society in our schools, then we are doomed, because you cannot afford a situation whereby learners are exposed to harassment, assault, all those things that are happening in some of our schools these days. And disruptions of schooling. I mean, you've learned in some of these schools, parents will lead a process of disrupting a school. I mean, we can't impede education of our children as a parent. So we really need them to work with us.
All right, well, I appreciate you speaking to us this morning. Steve Mabona, the spokesperson for the Department of Basic Education, right here in Gauteng. Thank you so much for your time.